So after doing a big Batman movie watch through, he's probably my favorite DC hero of all time. Welcome back to my channel, everybody. I'm Movie Micah. Today we are going to be ranking all 11 theatrically released Batman movies. This list will include Batman the movie from 1966, both Tim Burton films, both Joel Schumacher movies. It will also include Mask of the Phantasm, the Lego Batman movie, Batman v Superman, and the entire Dark Knight trilogy. Share your list of all the Batman movies you've seen. Share your list in the comments down below. This is just my opinion, so let's head into it.
Laughing.
Whoa.
He turns to me and he says, "Why so serious?"
Number 11 is, of course, Batman and Robin. I don't think I need to explain this placement. Everything that needs to be said about Batman and Robin has been said. This film is utterly terrible. It is insanely bad the way they executed all these villains. Poison Ivy and Mr. Freeze are just awful, but then Bane manages to be basically the worst villain I've ever seen. All the dialogue is horrendous, and there are no redeeming qualities in this entire movie. What an absolute mess of a film, and a huge step down from every other film on this list. Everything is pure garbage. Alright, it's official. This is my least favorite film of all time. Number 10 is Batman the movie from 1966. This one is so hard to compare to the other films because apparently it's designed to be a comedy, but it's so confusing because I can't tell if it's trying to be funny or if it's really that dumb. It makes the movie not very enjoyable overall. I guess this was actually a fine start to Batman in film, but I found it very odd. It's absolutely better than Batman and Robin, but it is nowhere near what Batman can be. Adam West's portrayal of Bruce Wayne is one of the weaker ones, and some of these villains are badly executed, but Batman 1966 is one that's not terribly hard to get through. Coming in at number 9 is going to be Batman Forever. I kind of enjoy this movie, although it's very low on the list. I really don't prefer Val Kilmer as Bruce Wayne. His whole performance just felt so off. I actually did enjoy both villains at some points. Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face and Jim Carrey as the Riddler were both just okay. After a while, though, both of the villains got so tiring, and I grew to despise both of them. They each got way over the top and just way too ridiculous. I also hated the TV brainwave stuff. It's such a stupid plotline. This movie is still too cartoonish and stupid, but definitely better than Batman and Robin. Each aspect is just a little step up. In 8th place is Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. I actually like this movie as a DCEU film. In fact, it is my favorite out of that entire universe. However, as a Batman movie, it's honestly terrible. Even as a Superman movie, it's kind of okay, but when we're focusing on Batman, it's quite bad. It makes him just another brute strength warrior instead of an agile martial arts hero that he's supposed to be. Add to that, he murders people with machine guns. I don't understand what Zack Snyder was thinking when he made these decisions. I don't accept this character as Batman, and it's very sad because Ben Affleck could have been awesome, but Snyder definitely messed it up. My number 7 is actually the Lego Batman movie. There are way too many good Batman movies from here on out, and I so wish that this one could be higher because it is actually a really good film. I absolutely loved all the references to past Batman films, especially after watching them all recently. This plot is just kind of charming as Batman is learning how to accept a new family. Joker was a very interesting villain, and although he didn't really feel like the Joker, he provided some great comedy. Batman has a nice little arc throughout this film, and I really wish I could put this one higher because it's great, but there are a lot of good Batman movies. Number 6 might be controversial, but it's Batman Begins. I used to not like this film at all, but after rewatching recently, it's a bit better than I remember. I still think it's easily the weakest in the trilogy, but it is definitely a good, realistic origin for Batman. The cast is absolutely spectacular. Christian Bale, Michael Caine, Morgan Freeman, Liam Neeson, and more are all great cast members for this film. I think both of the villains are kind of interesting, but they both fell kind of flat for me. I think people were just relieved that we didn't get another poop fest like Batman and Robin, so they love this film. I think it's definitely an overrated Batman movie, but it's a huge step up, and it's a good definitive origin story for the character. Into the top 5 is Batman Mask of the Phantasm, an even better animated Batman movie. Basically, what I have to say about this movie is that it was alright. It was alright. I like the plotline of the Phantasm and that people think it's Batman, and I really like the twist that Andrea is the villain. Those are the best parts, and I also really liked how Joker fit into the story. However, I didn't like Andrea's character up until the twist. The movie wasn't super enjoyable up until the climax, but even the climax wasn't all that satisfying for me. But I do like this film quite a bit because it has interesting themes and a good plotline. I would recommend Mask of the Phantasm, but I didn't enjoy it quite as much as I wanted to. Number 4 is Batman Returns. I'm surprised at myself for putting this movie so high, but I really like it. I think it's a very underrated comic book film. Danny DeVito and Michelle Pfeiffer are literally perfect for their villain roles. There is no doubt that this is the Penguin from the comics. The execution for the villains could be a little disgusting at times, but I really did think they were good. Michael Keaton might just be my favorite Batman as well, so the cast might be the absolute best. I really enjoyed the dark direction this film took without being all too dark. While this film might not be as good as the 1989 movie in my opinion, I still think it's one of the best DC movies we've ever gotten. My number 3 is Batman 1989. This was the first Batman movie to do it right in my opinion. I really like most things about this movie. Michael Keaton is a great Batman and Jack Nicholson is an amazing Joker. I really enjoyed those performances, and I love that we finally got some real motivation behind the Joker. I really like the decision they made that Jack is the one that killed Bruce Wayne's parents, and that Batman pushed Jack into the acid, creating the Joker. I like all the ideas of how they made each other who they are. The soundtrack is also just phenomenal in this movie, so overall, a really cool Batman film, and actually still one of my favorites. My second favorite Batman film of all time is The Dark Knight. This is the favorite Batman film for almost everyone out there. I think it's a fantastic comic book film, but not the absolute best. Of course, Heath Ledger as the Joker is what everyone talks about, so I don't have to say much, but he just might be the best comic book movie villain we've ever gotten. Christian Bale is at his best in The Dark Knight, and there are no weak performances in this film. I think the action is great, and I think it's very entertaining to see the Joker go scheme after scheme to tear Gotham apart. It's such a cool film, and I didn't used to like it very much for some reason. After rewatching, I still think it's just a tad overrated, but it's one of the best DC movies ever made. My number 1, The Dark Knight Rises. This film is not only my favorite Batman movie, but also my favorite DC film of all time. I think it is just phenomenal the way that it deals with the events of The Dark Knight and how it connects to Harvey Dent. It's so well done the way that Bruce Wayne comes back to being Batman, and later in the movie when he escapes the pit, it is very inspiring and incredibly done. I also think I would hold Tom Hardy's Bane on the same level as Heath Ledger's Joker. This Bane is no ordinary villain. He is a great character. The action is easily the best out of the Dark Knight trilogy, so there is a ton in this movie that definitely puts it over the others. Nolan gave it his all in his final Batman film, and it is the best in my opinion. So that was my ranking of all 11 Batman movies. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to click that like button and subscribe somewhere up here because you won't want to miss any more movie rankings or any movie content like this. If you would like to check out any more of my videos, that will be somewhere over here. Thanks for watching. This is Movie Micah signing off, and I will see you next time.